What's up, everyone? Lazy Titan coming at you today with another video. Today we're going to be doing a tier list of the new Threads cards in MLB The Show 25. I'm going to be ranking these cards from S to F tier, starting all the way from the lowest overall gold all the way to the highest diamond of 89 overall, Anthony Santander. So stay tuned as we go through every single one of these cards and see who you want on your Diamond Dynasty squad. With that said, let's get started with 83 overall Jesus Luzardo. Jesus Luzardo doesn't have a very good pitch mix, not very good hits or walks per nine. So I'm going to put him down here in the D tier. Luis Severino, similar situation, just not a very good pitch mix and not very good Ks per nine. So I'm going to put him down here in the C tier. I think he's slightly better than Jesus Luzardo, but nothing that'll get your hopes up too much. Now, Ryan Presley I was looking at, and so the thing with him is he actually has pretty good control, and he also has decent pitching clutch, and he has good control and velo on his pitches. So I think if you're just starting out, this could be a very good reliever, righty reliever out of the pen. So for that reason, I'm actually going to put Ryan Presley in the B tier. Up next, we have Clay Holmes, who's now a starting pitcher. He's just a gold starting pitcher. There's nothing too amazing or mind-blowing about him. So I'm just going to put him down here in the C tier. He's about on the same level as Severino. Up next, we have everyone's favorite Hoby Milner. Hoby Milner. So the thing about Hoby Milner is his per nines outside of his Ks and walks are not very good, nor is his clutch. But this card has such a funky release that I think he plays no matter what. So in my opinion, I'm going to say this is currently an A ranked card. I think he could be an S rank, but I'm going to say A just because I don't think he has the attributes quite to live up to some of the other relievers in this game right now. But I think if you get him against the right player, he can do a lot of damage. Up next, we have Hyesung Kim. He's a good fielder, but the bat's just not there. So he could make a good defensive substitution at second base or shortstop, but I think that's really all the value he gives as a defensive replacement if you need it. Next up, we have Jurickson Profar. Jurickson Profar is a switch hitter, can play left field and first base for the Braves theme team. Excellent clutch at 100, good power versus both sides for this time of the year. And I'd say if you put him at first base, he could play pretty well for you. I know he had a very good card last year, and his swing is very good. So with that being said, I'm going to put Jurickson Profar in the A tier. Next up, we have Isaac Paredes. He's a first baseman, or excuse me, he's a third baseman. There's nothing too particularly outstanding about this card. So with that being said, I'm just going to put him down here in the C tier. He's no different than most other third basemen. Not a very average bat and not very good defense. Next up, we have Nathaniel Lowell. Now, this card has a very good trait. He does have dead red and bad ball hitter. And so he's very good at hitting balls outside the zone and hitting fastballs. But the really cool thing about this card is, as a gold, he has 110 clutch. So if there's a runner on base or in critical situation, he's going to have 110 contact versus both sides. The power left's not great, but the power right's good. And he's actually a decent fielder for a first baseman. So I'd say Nathaniel Lowe would be an excellent bench bat, especially with that 110 clutch. I mean, that may be one of the highest in the game that's not a collection reward. So for that, I'm actually going to put Nathaniel Lowe as S tier, just for the bat that he has as a pinch hitter. If Showzone will let me. This new system is something I'm still getting used to. So up next, we have Max Kepler. Nothing particularly interesting about this Max Kepler card. He has an average bat, decent defense, and if you like a swing, you can use him, but there's nothing particularly outstanding about him, so I'm going to put him here in the C tier. Up next, we have Michael Conforto. He has good power, but the contact and the fielding are just not there, so I think he goes in the C tier as well. Just nothing particularly special about that card. Next up, we have Kyle Higashioka. He is a catcher/DH for the Rangers, right-handed bat. Great power versus both sides. The contact left is suffering, and this doesn't have very good clutch. But if you just want a straight-up power bat for your catcher, Kyle Higashioka can do that for you. So I'm going to put him here in the B tier. And lastly, for the goals, we have Gavin Lux. This Gavin Lux, there's nothing particularly that stands out. He's somewhat quick, decent fielder, decent bat. He's just an average gold player. So with a lot of these golds, he's just going here in the C tier. Next up, we start having all the diamonds, starting out with the program reward, Jorge Soler. He's a right fielder / left fielder for the Angels. He has good contact versus lefties, good contact versus righties, good power for this time of the year, good clutch. I think this is a very good card now. I would say you would probably not want him out in the field with 53 speed and 51 reaction. So this card would most likely be your DH. And the vision's all right at 73. So overall, I think this is a good card. I think I would say for getting him in the program, quick, easy, free, I'd put him in the A tier as your DH. Up next here, we have Justin Verlander, starting pitcher for the now Giants. Overall, Justin Verlander has decent walks per 9, decent hits per 9. He has all right clutch, but there's no velocity curveball, so he's really just a 3-pitch pitcher. And so overall, I don't think this Justin Verlander would ever see the field. So I'm going to put Justin Verlander actually down here in the D tier, just because I don't think you would ever use that card. He's basically a 3-pitch pitcher. Now up next here, we have Tanner Scott. Now Tanner Scott has very high hits per 9 and Ks per 9. The control leaves something to be desired, but 121 pitching clutch is excellent. And he also has a fast fastball, excellent slider, and a circle change. So he is just a 3-pitch pitcher, but I think with these, the pitches he has, along with that 121 pitching clutch, I think he could be good for like a short relief role. Like you could probably get a good inning out of him. So with that being said, I'm going to put Tanner Scott here into the A tier. Up next, we have Max Fried, a left-handed pitcher for the now New York Yankees. Overall, his hits per 9 and Ks per 9 and walks per 9 are not particularly good. The pitching clutch is okay at 85. He has a pretty good pitch mix, four-seam, curveball, sinker, circle change, sweeper. But nothing about this card is, above average or beats out many of the other starting pitchers that we're going to see later on in this tier list. So with that said, I'm going to say Max Fried is a B tier card. He's a decent starting pitcher. Up next, we have Gary Sanchez, a catcher for the Baltimore Orioles. The only thing Gary really brings to the table here is power versus lefties and decent power right. The clutch is all right. The vision's okay. Nothing about this card blows you away other than that 96 arm strength. So he should be pretty good at throwing people out at second base, getting out people who are trying to steal bases on you. But overall, I'd say he's an average card. I'd put him in the B tier. Next up, we have the now New York Yankee Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt has good contact versus both sides, 72, 104. The power's there, 78, 75 is good for this time of year. The 61 clutch is not good. I mean, he's going to drag you down on both sides. He has decent fielding for for first base. Not very fast, but I'd say this Paul Goldschmidt, just the clutch really drags this card down at just 61, because that's dragging it down from both the base contacts. So overall, I think he's also a B tier card, but I think he's going to be on the lower end of B. I think he's better than the gold, but he's not better than some of the other guys there. Up next here, we have Tyler O'Neill, who could play all 3 outfield positions plus DH. He's a righty for the Orioles. Good contact left, max power lefty, good power right, only 58 contact right. Clutch of 66 is not amazing. So he would be a good player to bring out if you're facing a lefty pitcher, but there's no one on base. If you brought him in, he'd have 105 contact, 125 power. So he'd be a very good pinch hitter against lefties with no one on. So with that in mind, I think I will place him in the A tier, just for the purpose that he is very good at that one thing he does. And I think that actually gets him up a little bit more over some of these golds that just have, higher power or decent pitching. Up next here, we have Gleyber Torres. He's a second baseman only, or DH. He has good contact versus both sides, 92-87. Good power versus lefties. The power righties is okay. The reaction and fielding and speed are probably not what you want at second base, so you probably want to DH him and not have him out there. The clutch is good at 90. He has good vision and good discipline, so he should get pretty good check swings. So I think this Glaber card is fairly good, especially if you like his swing. But the fielding here and having to play this guy at DH when I think there's better bats to play at DH, I just don't think this card will play in that field for you. So I want to put him actually here in the C tier. I think the bat's good, but I just don't think the fielding leaves you much to be desired there. So up next, we have the 4 Diamond Quest cards. So next up we have Jason Hayward for the Padres. He's a righty. He hits righties good. 84 contact right, 95 power right. Not very good contact or power versus lefties. And the clutch his clutch is all right. Fielding wise, not the best reaction, and you do not want 49 speed in the outfield this year. So I'd say this card is just not going to play on really anyone's team, in my opinion. If you like a swing, that's fine, but I know for my team, he's never going to see the field for me. So for that reason, I'm actually going to put him in the C tier. Up next here, we have Jake Berger, who is a first baseman / third baseman for the Rangers. In terms of the attributes, he has good clutch at 96. He has good power versus both sides. Contact left is not amazing. Contact right's good for this time of year. The fielding's not great, but he is a corner infielder, so it's not something you particularly have to look at. But I'd say overall, he's decent. He's a decent player. The 59 clutch and 48 discipline are not amazing, but I'd say he's an average card for this drop. I'd say he's in the B tier. Up next, we have Willy Adames, one of the 2 Diamond Quest rewards. So Willy Adames is a shortstop for the Giants, right-handed bat. Good contact versus righties and power versus righties. So he kind of has he has a reverse splits. So he's actually not good against his opposing side. So against lefties, he's only 60 contact and 65 power with 87 clutch, which that's good, and 90 discipline. So he should get pretty good check swings. The fielding is pretty good. It's all right at 83 reaction, 85 fielding. The speed is not great, so he may not get to some of those balls in shortstop as fast as you would want. So I think the fielding kind of brings this card down. I think the clutch is what saves this card in terms of its contact and power versus lefties. So I'd say overall, this card is probably just a B tier card. Not amazing, but he's not the worst. Next up, we have the starting pitcher out of the Diamond Quest, Walker Buehler. So Walker Buehler has decent hits per 9, decent control. The pitching clutch is pretty good at 89. The Ks per 9 are not very good. He has 4-seam, cutter, curveball, sinker, sweeper. So he has a good pitch mix. Good break on the cutter and the curve and the sweeper. I think he's overall a decent card. I don't think there's anything about this starting pitcher that blows you away at this point. But I think he is, for this drop, a pretty good card. So I'm going to say he is an A tier, just because I think he is one of the better pitchers in this game compared to the rest right now, currently. Up next, we have the program reward at the very end, Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer has good hits per 9, decent Ks, decent walks. The clutch is okay at 83. 4-seam slider, slurve, circle change, cutter. I think you can make the argument that Walker Buehler is actually better than this card. I think he is not. There's nothing that particularly blows you away, and the release is nothing, out of the ordinary. So I'm going to go ahead and say that he's a C tier card. I don't think there's anything about this card that blows you away, and I may reorder these at the end if I feel I've been a bit too overly harsh to some of these guys. Up next, we have Corbin Burns of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The stamina is good. Hits and Ks are decent. The control is also all right. Not very good pitching clutch, but the pitch mix for him, cutter, curveball, slider, circle change, sinker. I think Corbin Burns cars always play above their attributes. So I'm going to say that Corbin Burns is probably at least an A-rank pitcher. I think he's up there with Walker Buehler, and he may be a little better. I may be a little too high on Walker Buehler, but that just may be the Red Sox bias. Up next, we have former Red Sox Kenley Jansen, now of the Los Angeles Angels. He's a righty. He has good hits per 9, good case per 9. The control leaves a bit to be desired. The clutch is okay at 97 for a reliever. The pitch mix of cutter, slider, two-seam is not amazing. You would like him to have that sinker he had from a couple of years ago. But overall, I think he's okay. I think would fit as a B-tier card for this drop. But I think he is a good reliever for where we are in the year. But I think the pitch mix, if they're sitting fastball, they're just going to nail it every time. Up next, we have Cody Bellinger for the New York Yankees. He could play center field, first base, right field, and DH. The contact left is good. Contact right is pretty good. The power is all right, and the clutch at 101 is good. He also has pretty good fielding. The speed at 73, I wouldn't play him at center, but I mean, that plays in right and first base, obviously. So I'd say this card is decent, but there's nothing about this card that just, blows you away and says, oh, Cody Bellinger, this is an amazing card. I think that this card is just a B tier card. There's nothing in particular that just says, boom, pick me. Up next, we have the Astros of Christian Walker, first base only. He has good clutch. His clutch is only okay. His contact left and power right are pretty good. He's an excellent fielder for first baseman, so if you're looking for excellent reaction and fielding in first base, he is your guy. Only 38 speed, but again, this is first base, so not something you're particularly worried about. But there's nothing here that really, blows you away. The vision's not particularly good, and the clutch is only okay. And I mean, he's really just contact left and power right. So overall, I'd say he's really a C tier card. I mean, reaction time at first base is not something that I've particularly ever needed. So I think overall that just kind of drags him down. And lastly, we're here at the 3 collection rewards. If you collect all 28 of these players, at 10, you get Bregman. At 20, you get Chapman. And at 28, if you collect all 28, you get Santander. So starting out here with Alex Bregman, formerly an Astro, now a Red Sox. Can play third base and second base. The clutch is okay for this card. The vision's good. I'd say the contact right and contact left are okay, and he has good power. The fielding is good for a third baseman. I don't know if I'd play him at second base. I think he could let quite a few rollers get up the middle, and the speed is okay at 50. I think for a third baseman, he does pretty good. The quirks, nothing really here that really gets you going other than maybe table setter. So he could be good for the leadoff. But overall, I'd say Bregman's a decent card. I'd say he's a B tier. Up next, we have the flamethrower Aroldis Chapman, now also Red Sox. Red Sox fans are eating real good this year. He is a lefty reliever, 105 hits per 9, 118 Ks. I mean, that's the best you'll see on a card probably right now outside of the collections. The control 47 is where this card has a downfall, but again, it's not the worst thing in the world. I think it plays even with that. The 95 pitch and clutch is good. 4-seam sinker, slider, splitter with a outlier on the sinker. I think this is probably the best lefty reliever in the game currently. And so with that said, I think he is an S tier card. And last but not least, we have Anthony Santander of the Toronto Blue Jays. Switch hitter, left fielder, first base, right field. I think this card is probably the best in the drop. The 86 clutch, the contact 72 and 80, that'll play. The power 106, 105, that's good. The fielding and speed, I don't think you want him in the outfield. I think first base is where this card plays, or even DH. So overall, I'd say this is probably the best card in the drop. And with that said, I'm going to put him also into the S tier. And with that said, I'm going to look through here and see if there's anyone I really want to move up or move down. I think that, honestly, I think I'm going to put Corbin Burnes in the S tier. I think he's just head and shoulders above the other starters because I think he's better than this Walker Buehler and this Tanner Scott. And I'm going to see if there's anyone else here who I really want to move. I don't think so. I think I'm kind of good with where everyone's at. Yep, I'm good with where everyone's at, so I'm going to save this tier list real quick. All right, here's the final tier list for the New Threads program. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more content as we move forward. And with that being said, this is Lazy Titan, and I'll see you again real soon.